Welcome to MPUNGWE-PUNGWE YouTube channel. Subscribe for you to enjoy more of our videos anytime we upload.
So I was very much in that comfort that the Secretary to the President and Cabinet would not miss out on that important issue to report. In any case, she has called for this meeting. It must be one of the items that was reported to the President. But I am not sure. I wanted to also be very frank. So I want to be very honest. It's a House of Records. I never took this matter to the President, but on the understanding that it's the OPC, the same office of the President, where, technically speaking, I reported to the OPC, but politically, you report to the President. I think that's the way I would address that matter, Chair.
Show the mic. Blanta Central.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Former Chief of Staff, in your submission, item number 3, you indicated that there were no directives that were issued by yourself personally, and any guidance given during the meeting was attributed to the OPC as an institution. My question is, on your submission, do you acknowledge that your presence as Chief of Staff at such a high-level meeting could influence the decisions by the Pensions Fund? That's my first question. Secondly, in your submission again, you have indicated that the PSPTF remains an autonomous body and your presence was not intended to interfere with the independent decision-making process. Now, if we go by the meeting in which you attended that took place on the 16th of March 2024, action plan number 1 was that OPC should appoint a person from OPC to be a trustee for easy flow of information of the fund's development. Now, we see that Mr. Chizaso Nyirongo is suddenly appointed the chair of the Public Service Pension Fund in September 2025, a year after your meeting. Can you please explain this coincidence? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. Controlling Officer.
Chair, thank you for giving me the opportunity to respond to the 2 questions raised by Blanta City Central. Number 1, do you think your presence influenced the decision by the pension service, for the Public Service Pension Trust Fund? I wouldn't know. In any case, the decision to have the hotel sought has taken place in 2026. So the question should be, in my view as well, to when you are looking at this matter, I wasn't there when decisions to be now moving to sell the hotel were there. In any case, government would have stopped this. I wasn't in government, but this thing was continuing. The key fundamental question that this committee should also ask the stakeholders is this, that Mr. Chair, when government made pronouncements on the 7th October 2025 to dissolve all the boards, when the government made a decision on 10th October and a policy pronouncement to halt all procurements of parastatals and SOEs, when the government made a decision on 10th October 2025 to make sure that all recruitments and promotion in the civil service be suspended, when the government on 4th November made a decision to halt all loan disbursements by NIF, when the government on 6th November issued a policy direction on austerity measures, and amongst those,
Order. What is out of order, Blantyre Central?
My first question was his presence in the meeting, at such a high-level meeting. And I'm sure by virtue of that meeting, high-level meeting, let me ask you this question: that are you aware of the trust deed governing the pensions fund, in as far as the role of the OPC is concerned? Now, the trust fund, anyway, if you're not aware of the trust, the trust deed clearly states that the OPC has no specific role in the management of the fund. Now, apparently, you are found in this particular high-level meeting. Don't you think that your presence could influence the decisions to be made by the pensions fund? That was my first question. Thank you, Chair.
Can you proceed, controlling officer, having been refreshed by Blantyre Central?
Mr. Chairman, allow me to finalize from where I stopped, because it will address this question.
Controlling former Chief of Staff, kindly proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on 10th December, on 6th November, 2025, the government issued austerity measures, amongst which there was a moratorium that was issued on procurement of new vehicles and new high-value assets. And this hotel is part of the high-value assets. We are not there. I'm not there. Decisions are continuing. Is it not a paradox to see that government has halted the NIF and others, but this thing is still continuing? So how could my presence influence decisions which are happening later? So to answer the question specifically, it's no. I don't believe my presence influenced the decision of the sale of the Amariso Hotel. There are a number of issues that were at play, the way we see it. Why did the government not halt this, considering that there were alarm bells that were ringing in their transaction? That is a fundamental question that we must also ask in earnest. So that's what I think, Mr. Chair, my presence wouldn't influence any decision by the Public Service Pension Trust Fund to procure the hotel, because it was just an incident. It was not a practice. I have not been in other meetings. I have only been in that meeting. And decisions are happening in January. Decisions are happening in February. So I don't think so. Thank you, Chair. Number two is appoint a person from OPC for easy flow. Appoint a person from OPC to be in the fund or to be a contact point. That's where, Mr. Chair, I'm saying that the minutes are very crucial in this aspect. And they must be approved minutes, must be signed for. I'm emphasizing on this point because anybody can walk out in a meeting and claim that these are the minutes of the meeting. And those minutes should also be shared. As you said, Chair, that you will send this information for us to give a proper response on these matters. I welcome that. So, in my view, this point number 2, I need clarity that the action point, what does the action point say? And that clarity of the action point in the minutes must come from approved minutes, not just any other minutes. We heard yesterday, I've been following these discussions. One of the things I said there must be strengthening accountability on the governance is because of the way that fund has also been managing itself in terms of keeping the minutes. Minutes are lost, minutes can't be found, and that's what has been presented here in this kind of discussion. So I'm not comfortable to be given action points from minutes which are not signed for. I want to emphasize that, Chair. It's a serious matter on governance. Thank you.
Thank you, Controlling Officer. Can we go to Blanta Chilomoni Nancholi Kabula?
Thank you so much, Chair. I think the former Chief of Staff is clever to have followed the inquiry, and somehow looks to me, appears to me, he has had some information from this committee shared with him because of his claim. But I won't belabor myself going through all that, Chair. If you can allow the people of Blantyre Chiromoni to have a back and forth interrogation with the former Chief of Staff, Chair, for 7 to 10 minutes.
Blantyre Chiromoni Nancholi Kabula, please proceed.
Chair, I like the fact that the former Chief of Staff accepted partially that his presence in the meeting could really make someone conclude that he was representing the high office. And that's exactly what Colleen Zamba wanted you in that meeting. Because in that meeting, she had really hinted that the issue has reached the high office and therefore needed a push and speed. Former Chief of Staff, Mr. Prince Kabondangaga, governance frameworks exist precisely to define who has authority, who has oversight and accountability. Is that correct?
Mr. Prince Kabondangaga, like he has requested, so I granted his wish that he's going to ask you straight. And as soon as he finishes, you switch on your mic. When you're done responding, he's going to switch on his mic. We proceed that way, please.
Come again on the question, Blantyre Chilomoni Kabula.
Governance frameworks exist precisely to define who has authority, oversight, and accountability. Is that correct?
It's correct, but it's not limited to what the statement says. Thank you.
Such that the mandates are not just bureaucratic boundaries, they are safeguards against confusion, duplication, or misuse of public resources. Is that correct?
That's correct.
When someone participates in these meetings or decision-making without clear mandate, it does undermine both legitimacy and the trust in the process. Is that correct?
It's not correct. Because you can attend a meeting as an ex-official and you don't have a voting right in that meeting. If you... No, you cannot, let me finish. Even at UN conventions, people attend meetings as observers. So I attended this meeting as an observer, but I wouldn't say that that is illegal. It is, if the chairman thinks, who is the chairman of that meeting, who thinks that I need so and so to be in the meeting, it is up to the chair of the meeting. But you can't say that is illegal.
Mulanje West had given leverage to Blantyre Kabula. You can hold your supplementary questions in case within his 5 minutes there are those questions. So, Blantyre Kabula, proceed.
Chair, it's exactly why I said in the first place that his presence in that meeting is exactly what Colin Zamba wanted, to bring that particular confusion. I'll proceed. At the fund meeting, which you were the chief of staff then and attended, you agree that your role as the chief of staff does not include participating in the Public Service Pension Trust Fund's commercial transaction. Is that correct?
It's correct, but I was not there, discussing only issues of the public.
Yes or no questions, please. Correct or not correct?
It will be unfair.
Mr. Kabondangaga, whenever you are responding, make sure you switch on the mic so that it is recorded. Where you feel you don't have a response, you're free to say so, because this has been the general practice on our members that have time and again indicated that anyone who feels that, no, that one I'm not taking, you're free to do so. Basically, that's what has been happening. And those who have been following this inquiry, that is what has been the tradition. And we're not going to change the goalpost because you are here. So in the event that you feel that I can't take that one, you're free to say so. But remember, switch on your mic, make a response. When you feel you're done, switch it off so that you can conclude with Blantyre Chiromoni Kabula. Over to you, Blantyre Chiromoni Kabula.
I'll ask again. At that fund meeting on the 6th of March, 2024, which resuscitated the sale of Amaryllis, that has resulted in us now buying that hotel at 128 billion. Because of that particular meeting, because that's the meeting that resuscitated. That's the reason why we're always referring to that meeting, because it's a meeting that resuscitated, which you attended. At that particular meeting, as the chief of staff, you attended that meeting. You agree with me that your role as a chief of staff did not include participating in the Public Service Pension Trust Fund on the commercial transaction. Is that correct?
It's not correct because, it's not correct because that was not a Public Service Pension Fund meeting. It was a meeting called by OPC.
Called by OPC to discuss the transaction, called by OPC to discuss business transaction of the pension, of the Public Service Pension Trust Fund. Is that correct?
It's not correct to understand the fund's operation, governance, and investment portfolios. It's very clear. Even in your letter, Mr. Chairman, the one you wrote me, that is the statement, not to discuss the business of the fund. It is not a meeting. It was not a meeting for the Public Service Pension Trust Fund. It was a meeting by OPC. In fact, they invited the fund, and not the whole fund, 2 members of the fund, representatives. So you can't conclude and say that this is a meeting of the fund. It is wrong to say that. Those premises are wrong, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
So you having the experience that you have, you are here telling this committee that as a chief of staff, you have seen nothing wrong to participate in that particular meeting on that day.
The meeting by OPC, that was called by OPC, and I was requested by my supervisor, who happens to be the head of OPC by that time. It was not wrong, because I attended that meeting as an observer. I never partaked in any decision making. I didn't partake in any decision making which were done there, because I was just simply an observer. So I don't think it was wrong, because it was by express invitation of the chairperson of that meeting. Thank you, Chair.
As an observer in that meeting, you are there to represent and protect the interests of the president. Is that correct?
I don't think so. Thank you.
What has gone out of order, Mulanje Southeast?
Honorable Chairperson, I think we are being misled by the Honorable former Chief of Staff. In his presentation to this Honorable Committee, 10 minutes ago, he had indicated that he attends meetings and he participates in meetings as an agent of the President. It's on record, Chairperson. And now, 10 minutes later, he's denying the same, Honorable Chairperson. It is on record, Chairperson, that he has attended several other meetings representing the President. It's on record, Chairperson. Can you remind the stakeholder the seriousness of this Honorable Committee and the fact that he's deponing under oath? Thank you, Chairperson.
Controlling Officer, can you actually get aligned to what Mulanje Southeast has submitted? Because the committee is a general feeling of the committee that we are operating at different wavelengths. There are times you're setting the standards high, then at times you're lowering the standards yourself. Can you decide to operate at that level where everyone feels that, I know, here comes the former chief of staff? So proceed.
Maybe, Chair, the Blantyre Chilomoni Kabula.
At any other meeting, you go and represent you were going to represent the interest of the president, but at this particular meeting, you were not representing the interest of the president, because I asked you a very simple question. You were there to represent and protect the interests of the former president. Is that correct?
Blantyre Kabula, can you retake that one? Like I said, you have now 2 minutes. You've actually done 8 minutes. So, like I wrote, kindly respond directly to Blantyre Chilomoni. Blantyre Chilomoni, can you retake that one so that the former Chief of Staff can respond directly? Over to you, Blantyre Chilomoni.
You were there to represent and protect the interests of the former president. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman, as per your guidance, let me remain silent on that question. Thank you.
You indicated that you don't report to the president everything, and it's sometimes on a need-to-know basis. At what threshold, if you are discussing an amount of a sale, that particular time the hotel sale was 47 billion, in your wisdom you thought that that's not something you should bring to the attention of the president. Is that correct?
No, because, as I said, this matter is a matter that is already in the office of the president, because the one chairing the meeting and convening the meeting is the secretary to the president and the cabinet. So I didn't think it was my responsibility, because the president will already know from his secretary, who is a senior member of the government, and he is my supervisor. So I wouldn't be reporting matters that were not for the meeting that I called for, the meeting for my supervisor. Thank you.
Former Chief of Staff, you are an experienced member on governance. You are invited to this senior and very important meeting. You keep changing goalposts. I will ask you the last question. What was your role or the benefit of having you in this meeting? Thank you, Chair.
My role was an observer. Thank you, Chair.
I'm getting guidance from honor members that you've responded to the questions. So according to the request that I've just received from the members, I think we need to proceed in this way. Mulanje West, as a vice chair, kindly ask your question. After that, you can proceed to respond and provide your concluding remarks, because we have two more people or stakeholders waiting to have an interface with the committee. So Mulanje West.
Thank you, Chair and all my senior. I just want to start from where Blantyre Kabula left. That and the former chief of staff said he was there as an observer, and he cited an example of meetings in UN that we have observers, but observers don't even comment in those meetings here at UN. Why did you comment that the State House, the President, is aware of this transaction when you were in Nzuzu? But also, do you know Wahidi Kasim of Area 9, whereby you were communicating with him if you were just an observer about the transaction? But also, third one, what made you to be happy not to tell the president of the 30 billion public fund, which was transacted in this Marisa Hotel, being the person who was working in his office? Thank you.
Mr. Kabundangaka, I see Mulanje Southeast. Please proceed.
Honorable Chairperson, I know we are limited on time, but I just wanted to get confirmation from Mr. Kabundangaka that he has presented to this honorable committee that his presence in that particular meeting on the 6th of March was basically as an observer. And as one stakeholder mentioned yesterday, he was there to eat, which I think basically he has confirmed. And let me just roll.
Mulanje Southeast to wind up, because the honor members gave you about 8, you went on to about 10 minutes. So it's all those things, we gave you space. It's fair enough that other honor members can also get that space and they can be interjected anyhow. Mulanje Southeast, please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Mr. Kabundangaka, you have mentioned in your submission that we should rely on the minutes. Were you aware that that particular meeting of the 6th of March had minutes, yes or no?
Chair, I'm not aware.
Mr. Kabundangaka, that meeting of the 6th of March 2024 had you as a participant in that meeting, and that's something that you have deponed to this committee, that we should rely on the minutes of the meeting, and the minutes of the same have been read to you, and they have not jogged your memory. In that particular meeting, are you aware that on the 7th, the Public Service Trust Fund issued letters of comfort to Amarilis to the effect that they were still interested in the sale of Amarilis? Are you aware, yes or no?
Chair, I'm not aware. As I said, that all matters concerning the hotel or whatever meetings were happening, I was not part of, and I wasn't aware, I wasn't following up.
Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Kabundangaka, are you aware in that meeting that the Public Service Trust Fund, Pension Trust Fund, actually recorded that there was pressure from the highest office, and you were present in that meeting as an agent of the president, as you rightly responded to this committee, sitting there as a bouncer for secretary to the president and cabinet. Yes or no?
I'm not aware, Chair.
Mulanje Southeast, I think I had the guided. So can you ask your last one so that we wind up to allow others to proceed in a procedural manner?
Lastly, Chairperson, as a governance expert, as somebody who has headed institutions before, is he aware that institution decisions are supposed to be made by the board rather than from meetings? Yes or no? Thank you, Chairperson.
The former Chief of Staff, can they respond to that one and proceed to make your closing remarks? How many points of order do you have? Can you take from Mulanje West, and who else? Okay, Blantyre. Let's start with Blantyre Chiromon. One question, please.
It's not a question, Chair. I just feel like we didn't. You remember earlier when I started asking him some questions, it looked like he had prior information about this committee. And the way you have conducted, I think in-house we are going to discuss, the way you are gagging members to ask questions, you are rushing members to finish questions. And if you look at it behind, you would say you are outside, you hold an office from where the former Chief of Staff is. So you rushing everyone. I think when we have meetings like this, maybe we would ask that at least that particular one should be chaired by someone neutral. Maybe your vice chair could have handled otherwise. Because even Mulanje is asking questions, you are saying that's the last one. Give members time so they can ask everything that they have, Chair. I submit.
Other members, I think, let me make it very clear. I've been receiving calls from other members that we've taken wrong. One of these is right here. And even yesterday, members complained, including Mulanje Waste, that we're giving you so much time. Others are being given so much time. This is exactly that has happened. So I have a letter here. Let him make. Let him.
We are diluting something that the public is watching and the public are listening. We are diluting it. And it's unfortunate the way we have conducted the meeting today. I'm very disappointed. I am very disappointed today. The way we have conducted this meeting.
Honorable members, can we suspend the meeting for 5 minutes so that I can read the letter that came from one of the members asking.
One of the members is not everyone.
Okay.
Members were going to just listen to one decision by one member.
Controlling the former Chief of Staff, kindly consider taking a break for 5 minutes, then we'll resume.
Welcome to MPUNGWE-PUNGWE YouTube channel. Subscribe for you to enjoy more of our videos anytime we upload.